Pick up your phone. Now make a call. You will hear the familiar ringing sound. Now, I got a question. Why do you hear a ringing sound? See, that ringing sound is familiar because in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell wanted to make his phones, well, basically ring so that you could hear them. And since 1876, ringing has been associated with telephone calls. Now, yes, it's true that sometimes you will call somebody and you get a song, but see, the thing is that we are essentially, our brain is wired to recognize the familiar. Now, here's a problem with that, is that, see, sometimes even when something is not familiar, it looks for what is familiar and it'll associate the two. So therefore, we tend to jump to conclusions. And sometimes we say, oh, that's the same as that other thing, when it could essentially be completely different, but because our brain is basically taking the easy way out and connecting things to what you already know, therefore, this must equal this. Now, in relationships, that can be a problem. So, how does this affect you and the kind of stress and everything that's going on because of the pandemic? Well, consider the fact that the majority of your life, you've had freedom. So your brain has essentially been accustomed to this freedom. Everything that you noticed, everything that you see, okay, is connected to that element of freedom. But now that freedom's been taken away, even though it's been a year and a half, remember, you're still overcoming a lifetime of freedom. So when you are missing this, you're starting to kind of see things that should be there, but because of the pandemic, you're not. And that creates more stress because your reality does not match what's actually going on. And so because this reality doesn't match, there's two things that can happen. Number one, it allows you to become extremely innovative and come up with new ideas and basically create new industries, or it makes you stressed and crazy and basically withdraw into yourself, kind of expecting and hoping and wishing that this old reality came back. Now, of course, the old reality potentially will come back, but until then, what are we doing? Is it serving us to just kind of be in that element of, oh, I wish I could be more like it used to be. I wish I could travel. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. And be stressed about it? Or is it serving you more to say, wow, I can't travel. I can't do this. Everybody else is in the same boat. So what can I do to improve based on this situation, to take my focus away from the norm and turn it into something productive, exciting, and innovative? Let's look at what else can be a problem. What about innovation? Now, when the people that decided that they were going to create Uber, well, there was an actual thing, or Airbnb, that, they thought, hey, here is an opportunity that doesn't exist. Now, in order to be able to create new opportunities that completely do not exist, well, you have to basically get outside of the familiar. Einstein had his miracle year, and he's basically considered like one of the world's greatest geniuses, even though he was basically not as smart as some of these other people. But you know what? He totally went out of the box to create things that didn't exist. And because of that, he basically got the PR of being the smartest guy around. Now, here's the thing. If you take a moment and you look at something not from the familiar, not from the perspective of what you already know, because your brain is automatically going to default to that, right? But if you go ahead and you look at something, now you're going to be able to come up with new innovations, new ideas. But it's going to require effort, because your brain's default is, well, basically connect what is already familiar. So take what is familiar and go beyond it. Look at what it could be. Look at what is missing. Look at the elements that are, well, basically redundant in today's age. And make your work, your ideas, your family, your relationships, your parenting better than it ever was before. So, this is Arthur Carmazzi wishing you to take the familiar and go beyond to create great success.